Now, before all of that happened, we have to go back and talk about what or who even are the sages. In the Legend of Zelda series, the sages are a reoccurring cast of characters who act as protectors of the kingdom. Their duties include guarding the power of the Master Sword and serving as a link between the Sacred Realm and Hyrule. However, their role as defenders of the kingdom comes at a price, and they are often executed or abducted by enemies who seek to prevent them from uniting their powers against evil. The sages' spiritual lineage or bloodline connects them to past sages, and they only take their roles when awakened during times of need. In such situations, it is up to the hero to rescue them or locate and awaken new sages to assist him in his quest. There are currently 9 known sage positions in the Legend of Zelda series, which are divided into 2 groups, a group of 7 and a group of 2. The original and most prominent group is the 7 sages, with the 7th sage usually being an incarnation of Princess Zelda or a suitable member of the royal family of Hyrule. However, the 7th sage is not a core member, and the other 6 sages can function as a separate group known as the 6 sages. In The Wind Waker, 2 additional sages are introduced, who appear to operate independently from the 7 sages. The exact number of sages is not really that consistent and is unknown to this date, and their responsibilities are always unclear beyond their involvement with the Master Sword and the power to repel evil. The original sages, also known as the Ancient Sages, have not appeared as a group in any Zelda game, except for Roru, who we previously discussed in my last video. Roru takes the form of an owl in several instances to provide guidance to the hero of time. Due to the absence of the Ancient Sages, there is limited knowledge of them. However, legends of their wisdom have been passed down for centuries. It is said that they were responsible for crafting the Master Sword and built the Temple of Time, among other notable accomplishments. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time provides further insight into the sages, revealing that each sage, excluding the 7th, is affiliated with a specific element, symbol, and a temple. During times of peace, there are no active sages, only potential candidates who will be awakened as sages when the time arises. This call to become a sage comes from the Sacred Realm, and those who are chosen often have no prior knowledge of their fate until the awakening. The 7th sage, on the other hand, is always a member of the royal family of Hyrule, who are keepers of much of the kingdom's history. According to Roru, the original sages constructed the Temple of Time to safeguard the Triforce from those who sought to use it for nefarious purposes. The Triforce was concealed within the Temple of Light, the sole sage temple built in the Sacred Realm. Although each sage temple appears to grant entry to the Triforce, only the Temple of Time was designed to allow access to non-sages. As such, it was safeguarded by a seal controlled by the Master Sword, which evil entities cannot touch, and the Door of Time, which could only be opened with possession of the 3 spiritual stones, the Ocarina of Time and the knowledge of the Song of Time. Ganondorf's cunning plan involved manipulating Link to do his dirty work. By obtaining the Triforce and corrupting the Sacred Realm, the corruption spread to the sage temples and filled them with monsters. As a result, the potential sages were unable to fulfill their duties and assist Link with his quest. With guidance from Roru and Sheik, Link cleansed the temples and helped each sage to regain their power. Following Roru's advice, Link then returned to the Temple of Time, where Sheik was waiting for him. To his surprise, Sheik revealed herself to be Princess Zelda, the 7th sage and the keeper of the Triforce of Wisdom. Their joyous reunion was cut short when Ganondorf attacked, abducting Zelda and giving Link one more reason to confront him. The sages then provided aid to Link by constructing a bridge to allow him to access the entrance of Ganon's castle. During this time, Roru enlightened Link on the barriers erected by Ganondorf to shield himself from the sage's power. Link overcame these obstacles, paving the way to confront Ganondorf. And in the final showdown, Link defeated Ganondorf in his Ganon form. The sages then joined their strength to seal the King of Evil inside of the Sacred Realm. Let's take a closer look at the 7 sages in Ocarina of Time. First, we have Roru, which we covered in our last video. Roru in Ocarina of Time is the Sage of Light, an ancient Hylian who stands out from the other sages as he is not a recent addition. In fact, he is believed to be one of the original sages, and potentially the last one remaining. As such, he appears to take on a leadership role in the absence of the 7th sage. Next on our list is Saria, the Sage of the Forest. She's a Kokiri and one of the 7 sages who helped the Hero of Time. Concerned about the growing evil emanating from the forest temple that endangered Kokiri village, she set out to investigate. Link later arrived at the forest temple and defeated the monsters inside, which then awakened Saria as the sage. They shared a conversation about their childhood friendship, and Saria then granted Link the forest medallion as a symbol of her power. When the time came to confront Ganondorf, Saria fulfilled her role as a sage and was later seen traveling with the other sages to Death Mountain. Next up we have Darunia. Darunia is the Sage of Fire. He is a Goron and the 3rd sage to lend his power to the Hero of Time. In the years following Link's 7-year slumber, Ganondorf threatened the Goron race by planning to feed them all to the dragon. Darunia, who has escaped his fate, felt compelled to free his people, who were locked up in the Fire Temple. It was there that he reunited with his sworn brother Link, but he knew that it was not the time for a reunion. Therefore, he instructed Link to free the Gorons, while he fought the dragon. Later, Link entered the dragon's lair and defeated it, awakening Darunia as the Sage of Fire. They reminisced about their old brotherhood, and Darunia gave Link the Fire Medallion. During the final stages of the Hero of Time's journey, Darunia also fulfilled his role as a sage, and later joined the other sages as they traveled to Death Mountain. Then we have Ruto, the Zora Princess. She is the Sage of Water, and the 4th of the sages who lent their power to the Hero of Time. The Zoras opposed Ganondorf as their king. As punishment, their domain was locked away under ice. She was freed from the red ice by Sheik and decided to fulfill her duty as the princess and save her people. Ruto requested Link's help to save Zora's domain, and after a 7-year separation, they reunited in the Water Temple. Link eventually found and defeated the new monster that was keeping the curse intact, and Ruto awakened as a sage. She then gave Link the Water Medallion as a symbol of her support and love. During the final battle against Ganondorf, Ruto fulfilled her role as a sage, and yet again, along with the other sages, could later be seen traveling to Death Mountain. Next up we have Impa, a Sheikah. He served as the Sage of Shadows, and is the 5th sage to lend their power to the Hero of Time. There are hints that she knew about her role as a sage prior to becoming one, similar to Zelda. When an evil spirit that she had previously sealed away in Kakariko village broke free, Impa made her way to the Shadow Temple to lock it away once again. Link then followed her there and managed to defeat the evil spirit, leading to Impa awakening as the Sage of Shadow. She shared her perspective on the day that she and Princess Zelda fled from Hyrule Castle, and encouraged Link to continue his journey as a hero. Impa then presented him with the Shadow Medallion and remained silent until it was time for Link to defeat Ganondorf, where then eventually she fulfilled her role as a sage and also traveled to Death Mountain with the other sages. Then we have Naboro, the Sage of Spirit. She is a Gerudo and the 6th sage to lend her power to the Hero of Time. Several years before, Naboro attempted to infiltrate the Spirit Temple to thwart Ganondorf's plans. But she was captured and brainwashed to serve Ganondorf. After 7 years of mental imprisonment, Link freed her by defeating her Iron Knuckle form. However, she was recaptured shortly thereafter, until Link permanently saved her by defeating Twin Rova. As a result, she awakened as a sage and gave Link the Spirit Medallion as a token of her appreciation, complimenting him on how much he had grown during the 7 years that had passed. During the battle with Ganondorf, Naboro also fulfilled her role as a sage, and after that, you guessed it, she was traveling to Death Mountain with the other sages. Finally, we have Zelda, the leader of the sages. She is a Hylian, and her element is unknown, although it is often assumed to be time. She waited for Link at the Temple of Time to reveal herself as the leader of the sages and discuss the upcoming battle with him. However, Ganondorf also found her there and took her to his tower. Link later rescued her, causing Ganondorf to transform into Ganon. While Link fought Ganon, Zelda prepared for her role as a sage, and when Ganon was defeated, she joined forces with the other sages to seal him away. Afterwards, Zelda had a private conversation with Link about their experiences since they first met, and she expressed her desire to use her powers as a sage to send Link back in time, and they say their final goodbyes shortly after. As told in my other video, in The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, we have a short remembrance of these sages. They come in the form of glass-stained windows in the room where you pull the Master Sword. If we jump over to Twilight Princess, however, it is notable that in Twilight Princess, the sages, with exception of Princess Zelda, are portrayed as ghostly representations of elderly men. However, upon closer inspection, it becomes apparent that they are wearing masks, and their faces cannot be seen. The Mirror Chamber in Arbitor's Grounds serves as the dwelling place for the sages. In the events before Twilight Princess, the sages conducted a trial for Ganondorf in this chamber. Despite being struck by the sword of the sages during his execution, Ganondorf was still able to escape his sage issues restraint, using the Triforce of Power. He proceeded to kill one of the sages, prompting the remaining sages to then banish him into the Twilight Realm using the Mirror of Twilight located at the rear of this chamber. After discovering the incomplete Mirror of Twilight in the Mirror Chamber, Link and Midna are visited by the sages, who then explain that the mirror was fragmented by Zant using Ganondorf's power. The sages also clarify that Zant could not shatter the mirror entirely, since he was not the true king of the Twilight Realm. The sages then reveal the locations of the missing shards: Snow Peak, Sacred Grove, and the City in the Sky. Following their guidance, Link and Midna embark on a journey to find all the missing shards and restore the Mirror of Twilight. Once completed, the sages reveal to Midna that she is the rightful Twilight Princess and ruler of the Twilight race. While the American version of Twilight Princess suggests that the sages were Zelda's instructors, the Japanese version of the game indicates that it was actually Aru who served as her mentor. Now in Tears of the Kingdom, from the initial release trailer, we already know from the mural that there are 7 tears, which could actually relate to 7 sages. In the latest trailer, we could see that these tears were in some way or another linked to specific characters. Now if these tears are linked to characters, they could portray the new sages in some way. One of the most interesting locations that players can visit in Breath of the Wild is Gerudo Desert. Within the vast expanse of the sand and sun, players can also find a series of statues, known as the 7 Heroines. The 7 Heroines are a group of legendary figures from Gerudo history, and they are memorized in the 7 statues located throughout Gerudo Desert. These stages were erected to honor these powerful women and their contributions to the Gerudo culture. Each of these 7 heroine statues represents a different aspect of Gerudo life and history. However, keen-eyed players may notice that one of these statues is broken or missing. This has led to speculation about the fate of the missing statue and what it might represent. Are there maybe 8 sages? Some players believe that the missing statue may represent a lost or forgotten heroine. Someone who played a significant role in Gerudo history, but whose story has been lost to time. Others also speculate that the statue may have been destroyed during the conflict or natural disaster, such as the Great Calamity that befell Hyrule 100 years before the events of Breath of the Wild. Whatever the reason is for its absence, the missing statue serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of history and the importance of preserving the stories of the past. It also adds an air of mystery and intrigue to the 7 heroines, sparking players' imaginations and encouraging them to explore the Gerudo Desert and theorize for their own. Overall, the 7 heroines and their statues are a fascinating part of Breath of the Wild's worldbuilding. They serve as a testament to the strength and resilience of the Gerudo woman throughout history and add depth and richness to the game's lore. And while the mystery of the missing statue may never be fully solved, at least not until Tears of the Kingdom comes out, it only adds to the allure of these powerful figures and the world that they inhabit. If we look at the translation on the text of these statues, however, it reads out the 7 sages. Now what if the spirit of those sages rests in the tears that we previously discussed, and that we also see in the new trailer, embarked on these new characters? Although it is just a theory, but what if in Tears of the Kingdom we will have to find potential candidates who will be reawakened as sages when the need arises? For now, of course, this is just a theory, but since it is not too long anymore upon the game's release, let's leave it at that for now. So that's it for now. I really hope you enjoyed these types of videos, as I plan to keep on making these until the release of Tears of the Kingdom. Because with the release of the game, we have a whole new game, world and lore to explore and theorize about. As always, thanks for watching, and as a really small creator, I need all the support that I can get at this point of time. The best way to show your support is to leave a comment, give the video a like, and of course, subscribe to my channel. I pour a lot of time and heart into making these videos, and working a full-time job at the same time can be quite demanding. But with your support, it makes it a lot easier to keep me on going. Just remember that I love you all, I wish you a very good day, and for now, peace out.